He is Jingwoo, a high school student who still believes life is an easy game. He's convinced that when he finishes school, the world will be waiting for him with open arms. Jingwoo has a group of friends who reflect that youthful carelessness. Let's start with Dongyu, the guy who's always thinking about food. But be careful, because beneath his snack obsession, he's a great dancer. Then there's Bai Yongju, the master of eternal sleep. Not even the loudest alarm clock can wake him up. Then we have Taewon, the eternally in love guy whose life revolves around girls. And finally, the rookie of the group, Sungbin, the most polite and different from the others. Although on his first day, his friends stomp on his new sneakers as a way of welcoming him. Despite their disparate group, Jingwoo is convinced they're a family. But just before he enters the classroom, everyone freezes, because there she is, Sian, the queen of the school. Perfect in every way, beautiful, intelligent, and sweet. The ideal student that all the boys adore. Except for one, Jingwoo. He's not impressed and sees her as arrogant. Of course, no one pays much attention to her opinion. The class begins. The teacher comes in and writes on the board. And Jingwoo, fidgeting as ever, starts pitching Taewon his magazine. But he accidentally spills a carton of milk, which falls on Sian's desk. She screams, and the teacher, furious, orders the culprits to stand up. Without wasting any time, she expels them from the classroom. In the hallway, another teacher scolds them. But upon seeing Sian, the star of the class, she changes her tune and ends up sentencing Jingwoo to sit in front of her. She also assigns Sian as her homeroom teacher. That night, Jingwoo's parents are thrilled. Finally, their son sits next to an exemplary girl. They believe this will motivate him to study. They even prepare a special dinner to celebrate. It's like a scene from a TV commercial. But the next day, the economics teacher drops a bombshell, a 20-minute pop quiz. And, of course, Sian forgets his book. Jingwoo wordlessly pushes his book toward her and pretends he forgot it too. As punishment, he's sent out into the hallway to do push-ups while Sian watches. And then something changes in her. She distracts herself by looking at Jingwoo's drawings and realizes that the boy has no dreams. At the end of the class, she approaches him to thank him and asks if he really doesn't have any aspirations. He arrogantly replies that it's none of his business. Sungbin interrupts the conversation and invites him over for a game of basketball. After the game, Sungbin advises him to treat Sian well. But Jingwoo ignores him. Upon returning to the classroom, Sian does something unexpected. He gives her a handmade study guide. Jingwoo takes it and sets it aside without interest. But Sian doesn't give up and gives her a textbook, promising that with it she'll be able to pass at least half of the exam. However, Jingwoo asks her to stop interfering in his life. But that night, something changes. By accident, Jingwoo takes Sian's notebook and begins to read it. The handwriting is so beautiful and neat that she can't stop looking. Without realizing it, he starts studying. Days later, he returns her book with the assignments completed. But the calm doesn't last long. One day, the teacher enters the classroom with a serious expression and begins searching through backpacks because money has gone missing. When he reaches Dongju's backpack, he finds it's full of food. The teacher humiliates him, accusing him of stealing to buy snacks. Jingwoo, unable to bear this injustice, stands up and offers to pay the money to stop this public humiliation. The teacher reacts furiously and expels him from the classroom. But something unexpected happens. Sian stands up and supports him, saying she doesn't accept such unfair treatment and that she, too, prefers to be punished. One by one, her friends and then the entire group join the protest. There's strength in numbers. Everyone is scolded and sent to the hallway. But no one expected Sian, who had never been punished before, to start crying. Then her classmates, like good friends, cheer her up with jokes and smiles. Jingwoo sees everything from a different perspective and begins to see her differently. She's no longer just the pretty, smart girl. Now he sees something more, that inner spark that makes her truly shine. The real tension comes at the end of the day. Sian asks Jingwoo to stay and study with her. She reminds him that the final exams are approaching and challenges him with a line that touches his pride. I doubt you'll get a good grade. And so a bet is born. If Jingwoo loses, he'll have to shave his head. But if she loses, she'll have to wear her hair down like a ghost. Jingwoo taking his studies seriously? That definitely wasn't coming. Weeks pass and Jingwoo, determined to win the bet, stays up late every day studying with Sian. Even his father supports him, peeling onions alongside him to keep him awake with the smell. Finally, the day of the exam arrives. But after everyone else finishes, Xian continues studying alone, with no one understanding why. In a twist worthy of a horror movie, the lights suddenly go out. Xian panics, trips, and drops his pencil. As he bends down to pick it up, the light returns. And what she sees leaves her speechless. Jingwu, with his head completely shaved, fulfilled the bet. But the story doesn't end there. On the way home, it starts to rain. They both run to a bus stop for shelter. But a car soaks them completely. What do? They forget everything and go out to play in the rain, laughing like children. A scene worthy of a drama. The next day, despite having won the bet, Xian walks past the group, and everyone is shocked to see her with her hair down. Jingwu, like any boy in love, can't help but be mesmerized. Over time, he realizes he has feelings for her, and he starts looking for excuses to get closer while he's studying. But of course, college is approaching and the entrance exams are just around the corner. It's the last day of school, and excitement is at its peak. After the exam, the group celebrates in style. They jump, scream, and break all the rules. They even decide to go to the beach. In the middle of winter, they run, laugh, and splash in the icy water as if nothing matters. But when exhaustion overcomes them, they sit on the sand to share their dreams. They all have a clear idea of which university they want to attend. Everyone, except Ziyang. The girl who always had the best grades doesn't know what to do with her life. Ironic twists of fate. One night, Jingwu receives a call informing him that he's been accepted to Seoul University. However, while he's having dinner with his parents, he receives another call. It's Ziyang. She tearfully confesses that she didn't do well on the exam. Her grade won't allow her to enter the university, and she feels completely disoriented. He doesn't know what to do with his life, because all he's been able to do until now is study. Upon hearing her, Jingwu decides to confess his feelings. He tells her he doesn't care about her outcome. He loves her just the way she is. But Ziyang, confused and upset by the failure, asks why he chose such an awkward moment to propose, leaving her even more bewildered. Finally, the most anticipated day arrives, graduation. Everyone is celebrating having been accepted to different universities. Ziyang, not meeting the required score, decides to enroll at a local university to study to become a teacher. Meanwhile, Jingwu prepares to leave for Seoul alone, heartbroken, as he had studied with the hope of doing so alongside her. On the last day of school, everyone says goodbye by playing with flour, knowing that each of them will follow their own path to achieve their dreams. Meanwhile, Ziyang, sitting next to her friend, confesses that she likes Jingwu. Just then, a cloud of colored powder falls on them, making the scene even more magical. The party continues. As Jingwu and Ziyang walk together, he takes a bracelet out of his pocket, a small gesture that speaks volumes. He hands it to her, without looking directly at her, and asks her never to take it off. It's his way of telling her he loves her, without having to say it. Ziyang, his cheeks flushed, doesn't respond with words, but his heart beats strongly. The new year arrives, and everyone begins their university life. But Jingwu, trapped in his newfound freedom, begins to drift away from Ziyang. Their relationship cools. Although they remain in contact, they no longer feel close. Everything changes when Jingwu sees photos of Ziyang on social media, always with a stranger. Jealousy overwhelms him. However, everything becomes clear when she calls him and confesses that she misses him and will visit him. When they reunite, Jingwu can't stop staring at her. She's more beautiful than ever. And upon entering the restaurant, the waitress can't help but tell them with a smile, what a cute couple they make. Jingwu becomes so nervous he can't even look her in the eye. After eating, they walk together, and in the midst of that perfect moment, he makes a decision to confess his feelings. But not just any way, he wants to do it in an unforgettable way. In his mind, there's nothing more romantic than demonstrating his physical strength in front of the girl he loves. So, he decides to enter a boxing championship. The big day of the fight arrives. Jingwu enters the ring with the confidence of a champion, but reality hits him. Literally, his opponent leaves him unrecognizable. Just then, Xian arrives, but upon seeing such a sight, she leaves disappointed. Jingwu is hurt, but does his best to maintain his composure and pretend everything is fine. Still, Xian can't hide his disappointment. Tired of his immaturity, she no longer has patience for him. She gets up to leave, and Jingwu desperately begs for another chance. At that moment, two drunken men begin hurling offensive remarks at Xian. She asks him to ignore them, but Jingwu explodes and, without thinking, charges at them. Later, at the bus stop, Xian explodes. He tells her everything he's been holding back. She reproaches him for not listening to her once again. She reminds him that they're not in high school anymore and that he's still acting like an immature child. Jingwoo, hurt in his pride, replies that he does everything out of love, that he just wants to become strong to protect her. But the conversation escalates until they unwittingly break up. Jingwoo walks away, knowing he might have just ruined everything. When his former schoolmates find out about the breakup, they decide to visit him in the city where Xian studies. But not all is sincere support. Some only go to see if they have a chance with her now. Taiwan, for his part, soon realizes he has no chance and decides to seek out Jingwoo to cheer him up. That day they drink until they can't hold back. And as always, every time Jingwoo drinks, something goes wrong. This time, the night ends with a fight with a group of soldiers, and Jingwoo gets beaten up again. It was at that moment that he remembered his father's words. If a man truly wants to grow up, he must join the army. So, determined, Jingwoo enlisted. His life takes a complete turn. The army isn't easy. No more laziness, no more parties, no more jokes. It's all about discipline, extreme training, and a strict routine. Little by little, this life transforms him. From being an immature young man, he becomes someone more focused, determined, and responsible. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Bin tries to get closer to Xian, believing he now has a chance. But she's clear, she wants him only as a friend. Honesty above all. One day, Jingwoo learns that a severe flood has hit his hometown. And who's the first person he thinks of?
Xian.
Her parents don't even cross her mind. She just runs to ask permission to make a call. The officer tells her no. But seeing her desperation, he lends her his own phone and gives her only 3 minutes. Jingwoo, his heart racing, calls her. Hearing her voice and knowing she's okay, he feels relieved. The conversation flows until Xian blurts out the truth. The day we broke up, I wanted to tell you that I loved you too. But you didn't give me the chance. Jingwoo is shocked. But Xian continues in a sad voice. It's too late. Time passed. Distance separated us. It's best if we remain friends. And with those words, the call ends. And with it, any attempt to rekindle what they once were. Years pass and everything changes. Ba Yongju, the king of sleep, turns his passion into a career and starts working at a mattress company. Taewon, who seemed lost, becomes a famous chef. Dongju, who lived for food, directs commercials and music videos, with Mun as his assistant. Bin became a lawyer. And Jingwoo, though not choosing a grand path, continued with boxing. He became the author of illustrated novels about ring champions, transforming his youthful chaos into inspiration. One day, while working on one of her stories, she receives an unexpected call. It's Xian. Her heart races. He thinks it might be a love confession.
But no.
Xian calls him with a revelation. And it's not about them. She's calling him to invite him to her wedding. Yes, her wedding. Jingwoo feels as if she's been hit directly in the soul. Xian explains that her heart now belongs to someone else. Someone who truly makes her happy. On the wedding day, the whole gang gathers together. They laugh, reminisce, celebrate. Everyone is happy for Xian, except for Bin, who still seems to harbor feelings. But surprisingly, Jingwoo is the one who appears most serene. Although he was the one who loved her the most, he smiles when he sees her happy. Because in that moment, he realizes something fundamental. He's made peace with the past. And with himself. A story of maturity, growth, loss, and second chances. Because sometimes, true love doesn't last. But it leaves you with something even more precious. The strongest version of yourself. Did you enjoy this story? Then don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and hit the bell for more stories like this one. See you in the next roundup.